This is the Athletic Geek, and welcome to this week's comic shop adventure. I'm fixing to go out now and head to my local comic shop and pick up my pulls for the week. We got a big week here. I think I got 12 books on my pull list come out just this week. The big one, Action Comics number 1000, hence the hat for this adventure. It's been 1,000 months since the debut of Superman, the debut of Action Comics back in the late 30s, and they have a really big commemorative issue. It's an $8 book. All-star writing and artist, writer and artist cast. They're really making a big deal out of it. I'll let you know my thoughts on that book next week. As far as last week, pretty decent week. Detective Comics was very good. I really liked the story they're doing there. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Very good book. The reluctant betrayal of one of the Lantern Brethren. That's making for an interesting story, and interested to see how that will play out, and not only in this story arc, but after that story arc. Flash was very good with all the different speedsters coming together, all the different Flashes. That was kind of a takedown Grodd. That was fun. And the ending with Iris and Barry, you get a lot on the show, so it probably didn't have as much impact as they probably wanted it to, but still, it was a good ending. Everything was pretty decent. No real life-changing books, and that's not a knock on anything, just, nothing really life-changing, but everything was solid, and that's about all you can ask for. But right now, it's time for me to head on to the shop, and I will discuss what all was on the list this week when we get back to the homestead. Hey everyone, I am back to the homestead, back to Athletic Geek HQ. Concluded the comic shop adventure. It was a longer one than expected today because of some fantastic conversation that I had with the folks at the shop today. Shout out to y'all if you end up seeing the video. Had a great time talking. It was a great discussion, and it's what these comic shop adventures are going to be about. But for you, the viewer, it is time to look at the bounty of this week's adventure, and we're going to start with Green Lanterns, number 45. As I mentioned, previous edition of this program, very good books so far. It's one of the best, most consistently good books at DC, and they're dealing more with Jessica Cruz's memory and what she remembers and doesn't. It's a very interesting little concept, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Also, the finale of Justice Lost here in Justice League number 43. Interested to see how this storyline concludes, and then how it will lead into the Scott Snyder Justice League story that'll be coming later on. So I can't think if that's going to be part of the main book, or if that's going to be the main Justice League book, or if it's going to be a side story. But either way, I'm looking forward to seeing Snyder's take on it. But this was also a really good story so far, too. Got a new story arc going on in the Batman book, Batman number 45, The Gift, Part 1. The cover says, Batman saying, Booster Gold must die, and I don't know how Booster Gold's going to work into this, but I trust this to be a good book. It's not had really that bad of an issue since the Rebirth. The Fall of the House of Kane, Part 2, and Batwoman, number 14. It's, again, another really consistently good book. Really, this has actually been one of my books I always look forward to the most, is Batwoman every month. It's one of the monthlies from DC, so pretty excited about this, and pretty excited to continue to read this. And then to conclude the main continuity of Batman books, you got Nightwing number 43. Nightwing's been good, not great. Just to be honest with it, but I love Dick Grayson, and I'm as long as he's being Nightwing, unless it's just complete crap, for lack of a more eloquent way of putting it. I don't think I'm ever not going to read a Dick Grayson Nightwing book unless it's just really bad. And it's not been a terrible book. It's just kind of not really been as good as the New 52 version, but it's still a book that I pick up consistently. And then the final Batman book of the week, and it's not in the main continuity, is the conclusion to Batman TMNT II. And what more can I say? I've been talking about this book since the first episode of this here YouTube show, and I love it. You wouldn't think this combination would work, but it does. It works very well. So, always very good, and I'm excited to see how the story ends, and I hope they can come back for a third edition. Now we go to the big purchase, and what I'm also wearing this at, it is Action Comics number 1000. They had several different variant covers, all depicting Superman from different time periods, and I chose the 1940s one, if you can take a good look at that. It even has a buy war bonds, and right there, like it really is a 40s comic. A beautiful cover. Been getting a lot of mixed reviews, so I'll let you know how I feel about this next week, whether I thought it was a great book or didn't. I will definitely give you my thoughts on Action 1000. 1,000 issues of Superman. Wow. Kind of, it's sort of the origin of Superman. And I picked up another blank cover. I like the sketches on blank covers, so I thought in Action 1000, if I ever get someone to sketch Superman, that'd be the perfect thing to, excuse me, for it to be sketched on. Next book we got Aquaman number 35. Aquaman, when the Rebirth first started, was actually, dare I say, the best book at DC. It's kind of tats up the hills and valleys, but still pretty good book so far. I haven't dropped it yet. I still really enjoy it, but Aquaman's kind of lost the throne a little bit, and just kind of not quite as good as the Johns run from the New 52, to where Aquaman was by far and away, just a fantastic book, and definitely not worthy of all the criticism that character takes. But this is still very good, and I'm gonna keep reading it. So, and then we go to Superman number 45. It is a very Superman related week here, and I haven't really done my due diligence as a YouTuber here, but I don't know if this might be a break from the Bizarro storyline. So yeah, I don't really see anything Bizarro. So this might just be a small little break before it comes back, or what's happening with it. But yeah, still, Peter Tomasi's been doing great on Superman so far, and I really enjoyed the book. Alright, well that concludes DC. Now we go to Marvel. We'll start with Cable, number 156. And this is another book that, much like X-Men Blue last week, which it's still kind of iffy on. It's still kind of on my child luck. I got it beginning of a new story arc, so I'll give it one more issue. But that one, I didn't mention this earlier, still not really feeling it. And Cable's kind of the same way. I really enjoyed the Cable character. People have a lot of criticism about Cable, but I always kind of just takes me back to my childhood when he was really cool, and it was a new book. And yeah, he's very 90s, but I just always thought he was cool, and I enjoy reading Cable, but it's just, so far I just haven't, other than the fact that I love Cable and I really want to keep reading it, the stories have just kind of been average at best. So we'll see how this book plays out, but may not see me talking about Cable much longer on this program. Daredevil, number 601. Again, I like Daredevil, and Charles Soule's been doing okay. Definitely not as good as the Mark Waid run, in my personal opinion, but still, Daredevil is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I like the street level. I like how he's a nice contrast to what the Marvel Universe is about. So always enjoy some Daredevil comics, and yeah, just gonna keep going along with it. And again, I'll probably always read a Daredevil book unless it just gets downright awful, and this is nowhere near awful. It may not be the home run that it was with Mark Waid, but it's nowhere near awful. And then finally we have X-Men Gold, number 26, Till Death Do Us Part, Part 1. Say that 5 times fast. And we got Kitty Pryde is going to marry, marry Colossus here. So gonna be interested to see how this goes, and interested how the story plays out. So it's a big week for comics since I've been doing this thing. It's probably been one of my biggest weeks so far. I think I have I haven't counted them yet, but I ain't got like 11 or 12 books to read. So I'm going to get started on reading these, and hope to come back next week with another comic shop adventure. I'll let you know for sure how I felt about Action 1000, and I'll hit you up with the highlights of this week on my next adventure, and then we'll see where the adventure is going to take us from there. So hope you guys enjoyed this edition of Comic Shop Adventures. I am the Athletic Geek. Go like my Facebook page for daily updates on all things geek culture. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and let me know what you bought from the comic book shop in the comments section below. But other than that, I'm out. Be cool.